Good morning. It's Tuesday, May 18th. I'm Kenny Polcari, and this is Host of the Party, Morning Market Commentary. Everything you need to know to get your day started, and then some. So what's happening? What happened yesterday? Markets were weaker yesterday to start off the week. Felt ugly early in the morning, although they did end up rallying back kind of midday after some commentary coming out of Fed Vice Chair Clarida and Rafi Bostic, as long as speculation on what Jamie Bullard will say tomorrow after the FOMC minutes, in fact, do come out. So U.S. futures, though, are bouncing this morning, yet the mood remains erratic. Michael Burry, you may remember him from The Big Short and the housing crisis of 2008, makes a big bet against Lonnie Musk and Tesla, and then really by default, maybe even Cathie Wood. Gold quietly advancing. We haven't talked about gold in a while. It's quietly advanced over this quarter. It's up 12% just in this quarter. It was up 1.6% yesterday. It's now up and through all three trendline resistance levels, trading at 1867. Oil moving higher. It is now kissing $67 a barrel, a level that we've been talking about. 70 probably coming sooner rather than later. And don't be surprised if you see 70 even here by Memorial Day weekend. The focus today and tomorrow is squarely on the FOMC and what they're going to say. I already told you, Clarida and Bostic came out and support the current Fed thinking. Jimmy Bullard's coming out tomorrow. We know that he supports the current Fed thinking. Jay Powell has been mum over the last couple of days, but we know what he thinks about the Fed and about what the Fed should do. And so therefore, investors are going to wait very patiently to see what comes out. And so what's for dinner tonight? We're going to serve up the firecracker chicken pieces. It's a hot dish, and it makes you sweat the way the market makes you sweat when it starts to spin out of control. Here's the other thing. Please consider joining me today at 4:30 with Ron and Sana on our Blitzer Live event. It's a bi-weekly event where Ron and Sana and I get on the Blitzer platform and we discuss markets and what's ahead. We take questions from the audience. If you've never been, you should try it. Go to blitzer.com, BLITZR.com. Search for the Host of the Party show today at 4:30. And you can register and sign up for free. It's about 45 minutes. It's very interesting. We have a lot of fun. I'm sure you'll find the platform exciting and interesting and interactive. Anyway, so how did they begin? Stocks began the week in sell mode. Tech, communications, consumer discretionary, and Bitcoin all leading the way lower, while basic materials, consumer staples, energy, and gold all led the way higher. The story is the same. We know what it is. It's all about the recovery. It's all about investors weighing the risk of inflation and monetary policy and infrastructure and spending plans and tax plans. And it's also about the latest tweet from Lonnie Musk on Sunday evening. And by now I'm sure you heard that he created some confusion in his tweet, sending Bitcoin down $8,000 or 16%. Overnight before it found some buyers. Traded all the way down to 42,000, down from 50,000 on over the weekend before it found some buyers. All this is embraced as investors remain on the edge, and they brace for further volatility as we await the FOMC minutes tomorrow. Once again, it's the sexy high growth names that are getting hammered, right? They continue to get hammered as money moves out of those names back into traditional boring U.S. names. Boring is good though, right? They're defensive. Boring is good in kind of an unsettled environment. So don't talk bad about defensive, boring names, right? Coinbase getting raked over the coals yesterday, falling $17 or 6.6%, now putting it below the reference price it used during its IPO, 6 or 8 weeks ago, whenever it came public. It used a reference price of $258. It opened at $375, traded up to $4.25, and now it's trading below that reference price in what is now a 41% move lower off the highs achieved on the IPO day at $425. I would love to know who paid $425. It ticked there once and never saw that again. And Tesla also coming under fire once again, falling $13 or 2.2%. As investors are now beginning to question the stability of CEO Lonnie Musk as he continues to question, as his behavior continues to create distractions and his commentary on cryptocurrencies continues to cause chaos. And this morning he's got something else to deal with, right? Michael Burry, you might remember him from The Big Short. We'll get to that. We'll get back to that in a minute. But Michael Burry's placing a big bet against Tesla and then Lonnie Musk. And then by default, Cathie Wood's ETF certainly continues to suffer. She's getting beaten up as well. Every name in her ETF is under pressure as investors are in this, get me out at any price mode. It almost feels like capitulation. But remember, capitulation is at the very end when people are so nuts that they take everything and they smash it through the window. They throw it all out, the kitchen sink, everything. They hold nothing back. Now, we haven't gotten there yet, but as we get closer and closer, as these stocks come under more and more pressure, look, some of them are already down 40, 50%, right? Is that you can almost feel like this, we're getting to the point where they're just going to throw up their hands and they're going to start throwing everything out the window. The selling, we see this. The selling one day is met by buying the next, is met by selling the next, is met by buying the next, and that's what's happening today as both the buyers and sellers try to determine what is a fair valuation, what is fair asset value for stocks in the current environment. Clearly, some names were way overpriced, and we've seen that. The broader market is kind of struggling, trying to find its way. Yesterday morning, once again, the Atlanta Fed President, Rafi Bostak, he gets on TV and he tells everybody that he's not ready yet to dial back support for the economy and that it could take months. It could take months. They had a good read on inflation. In fact, what he said was that they were planning on going out to talk to consumers to get a sense of what's going on. And I go, what? What are you going to do as the Fed? You're going to go out and talk to consumers to get a sense of what inflation is? I mean, it's mind-boggling. And then yesterday afternoon, Vice Chair Richie Clarida is on his webinar, and he also talks about the fact that the Fed has not made substantial progress in its goals of employment and inflation, so therefore, he proposes to hold the line and stay the course. And that helped markets rally right off the lows we saw kind of about 1:30 in the afternoon off the S&P, S&P and NASDAQ. They both rallied from that point onward. Now, they all closed in negative territory with the exception of the Russell. The Dow ended 54 points lower. The S&P gave up 10. The NASDAQ lost 50. And the Russell actually gained 2.5%. And then there's Bitcoin, always a fan favorite, and Lonnie Musk, who just can't keep his mouth shut, knowing full well that retail investors and traders react to his daily musings in an almost cult-like fashion. So Bitcoin collapsed under the weight of the Sunday night tweet. Even though he corrected it, or he tried to correct it early Monday morning, there was all this pandemonium and chaos taking place. And we saw that about what Tesla was going to do with their Bitcoin. Did they sell it? Did they not sell it? What did Lonnie Musk do with his Bitcoin? Did he sell it? Did he not sell it? Whatever, right? It ended the day yesterday at $43,000, down some $7,000 from where it closed on Friday at like $50,000. The media had all the talking heads on discussing what this means. And in an odd way, many are now saying that the noise that Elon Musk is making is actually good for Bitcoin. And why? Because he's drawing all kinds of attention to this asset. He's forcing this conversation to happen. He's shining a light on Bitcoin and then therefore the whole sector. And many of these new crypto guys suggest that this is actually a benefit for the group, even though it does cause short-term volatility and fairly big volatility. Look, we've said this before. This asset class is not for the faint of heart, right? And if you're in it because Musk says you should be in it, then you're in it for the wrong reason. And just FYI, pay attention. The long-term moving average, daily moving average, trendline support is at 39,524. That's only $4,000 or $4,500 away from where we are right now. It could get there in a heartbeat. If he comes out and he tweets something negative, right? Which I'm sure today he's not going to do that because we're getting close to that. But if it should turn negative for whatever reason and the sellers send Bitcoin down to that level and the buyers refuse to defend the position, then watch, because all the technical alarm bells are going to go off. Once it breaks that line, 39,524, the next real level is 30,800. And it could get there very, very quickly. We saw how fast it lost $7,000 or $8,000 overnight. It could easily lose another $7,000 or $8,000 if it breaks that technical support level. So just pay attention to that, right? Because you can imagine that once that happens, the broader market's also going to come under some pressure, right? As that negative tone kind of permeates. But look, it amazes me, because what I'm worried about if that happens is all the people who margin their brokerage accounts to go long Dogecoin or go long Bitcoin, or even think about people that refinanced their house and took money out to go long Dogecoin and Bitcoin. If this thing starts to collapse, it's a disaster in the making. That's a whole other issue though, right? Today, we got eco data. Housing starts expected to be down 0.2%, while building permits are up 0.6%. And tomorrow brings us the all-important FOMC minutes, right? And expect everybody to be listening to and parsing every line, trying to tear it apart, looking for words that are different, looking for sentences that are different, looking for intent in the sentences that are different from what they were last week. None of which I think we're going to get, but that's what investors are going to do. They're going to tear it apart. They're going to try to identify every word that is not the same as it was last month, and so therefore they'll use that as a way to explain what people are thinking the Fed may or may not be thinking. Gold, something we haven't talked about in a while, has quietly made its way back. It is a traditional inflation hedge. And so as money moves out of the market, money moves out of Bitcoin, it's finding its way into this traditional inflation hedge because people are clearly worried about coming inflation. Gold is now up 12% just in this last quarter alone. Since April 1st, this gold is up 12%. Yesterday it was up 1.6%. It closed at 1867, now above all three trend lines. And it looks like it wants to test the January highs of 1975. Which is up about $130 from where we are now. And if the inflation story continues to heat up, expect gold to continue to move higher as investors and traders use it as the traditional inflation hedge. U.S. futures are up this morning. And that makes sense after what we saw yesterday. It makes perfect sense. Like I said, we got one day we sell off, the next day we rally. One day we sell off, the next day we rally. Right now, Dow futures are up 90 points. S&Ps are up about 12. The NASDAQ is up 90, and the Russell's about 7. Up about 7. The 10-year Treasury is holding steady at 1.64%. The dollar index has crashed through the May support levels, which I identified, trading now at 89.77, a level a couple of weeks ago that I said, if it should break and crash, it should find support down at the 89.90 level, and that's exactly where we are, 89.77. And this morning, Michael Burry. Now, you remember Michael Burry, right? He was the guy that bet against the housing crisis in 2008. He was played by Christian Bale in the movie The Big Short, which was a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. But Michael Burry comes out this morning in a Bloomberg article, and now it's across all the media, that he's making this clear bet against Tesla and by default Lonnie Musk. And then by default, really, I took it as Cathie Wood as well, because part of Cathie Wood's ARK ETF, her biggest investment is Tesla. So, right, he's making this huge bet, this short bet against Tesla. It's worth about, according to the newspaper this morning, it's worth about $534 million. As he's expressing this huge skepticism on both where he thinks Tesla's going and what that says about Lonnie Musk. And then that's where the Cathie Wood part comes in, because look, if Tesla starts collapsing, for whatever reason, but if Burry's right, Tesla starts collapsing, it's going to be more than Tesla that collapses, right? It's certainly going to be all those sexy high growth names that have those extended valuations are all going to come under even more pressure, and then that's just going to cause a broader correction in the market, in my opinion. This morning, Tesla is actually quoted down $6 at $569. Now, remember, the March low was $539, right? If it does not hold for some reason, if it should get knocked around today, $539 is a level you should also keep your eyes on. European markets are up as well. The tone went from negative to positive, just like it did here, right? Yesterday it was negative, today it's positive. The same way the tone went from negative to positive here. Eurozone GDP is due out today, as well as the UK unemployment data due out from March, right? Oil, like I said, rallying hard. It's up another 52 cents, trading at $66.70 a barrel, just kissing 6,700. Reopening around the globe, fueling this demand story, as well as fears of falling demand in Asia being completely ignored, right? It's all about the reopening trade. It's all about the demand, and it still is also about some of the tension and nervousness happening in the Mideast as there continues to be conflict between Israel and Hamas. But overall, global oil demand is strong and will continue to be strong now as we move into the summer driving season, right? This morning, Bitcoin is now trading at 45,000, right? It's rallied a little bit off the lows from yesterday where it traded as low as 42,000. And like I said, 39,500 is a very, very key support level. It's a trend line level. It's going to cause any attempt to go there and fail is going to send the technical signals through the roof, right? And that'll be, and then you'll see much more weakness. Ethereum is trading at 3,500. Dogecoin is trading at 49 cents. The S&P closed last night at 41.63. And what was this churn? Yesterday it was churning, and I said that yesterday morning. It felt like it was going to be a churn day, right? And this morning, futures are higher, so it appears as if they're going to try to push it higher, but I think it's going to run into resistance at the 4180, 4200, somewhere in there. I think it's going to run into resistance. Now, look, if the story comes out today that the FOMC is holding the course and there's no change, it's all, gung-ho ahead and rates remain low and plenty of accommodation and don't anyone worry, inflation is transitory and we're not worried about it, then you could see how they could then reconcile that and try to push the markets higher. Which I think they could absolutely do, but I don't think they're going to go much higher, and I think the trading is going to remain erratic through the second quarter. You know what you can always do? You can text the word invest to 21,000 to get my digital business card. Feel free to download it, reach out, send me an email, send me a text message, call me. I'm always happy to discuss the markets, and I'm happy to discuss the plan if that's what you need. Now, what's for dinner? Firecracker chicken. It's a great dish, but it's hot. Right? And it's a spicy dish, and it causes your head to start to sweat, and then your eyebrow, and then your back, and all starts to sweat. You can feel the sweat just dripping down your body as you eat it. Now, that depends, again, on how hot you make it. This is a great dish to make if you're at the beach and you got a bathing suit on, you can run in the ocean and cool off. But one way or the other, you get the same sense when your body gets all sweaty when the market's in a free fall and you're looking for a place to run and hide. But it's relatively easy to make. Again, it's not a difficult dish to make. You need a pound of boneless chicken breast cut into bite-sized pieces. You need salt and pepper, cornstarch. You need 2 scrambled eggs, vegetable oil, buffalo hot sauce. You can buy that at the grocer. You need brown sugar, you need rice wine vinegar, you need red pepper flakes, and scallions, right? So start by preheating your oven to 400 degrees, take a Pyrex glass dish, just give it a little bit of grease with some vegetable oil, and then set it aside, get it ready. Take in a bowl, you're going to mix the sauce now that you want to put, you're going to mix that and get that ready. So you're going to put 1/3 of a cup of buffalo hot sauce, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of the rice wine vinegar, and the red pepper. Now the red pepper is going to depend on how much you want. Mix it and then set that aside. Now you're going to use paper towels. You're going to take the chicken pieces that you've cut into little bite-sized pieces, pat them dry with a paper towel so they're not wet because you want them to brown nicely in the pan. If they're wet, they're not going to brown, right? So just make sure they're dry. Now season them with salt and pepper all over just to give them some flavor. Toss them now in cornstarch. Right, so you can do it in a Ziploc bag. Put the cornstarch in a Ziploc bag, put some chicken in there, shake it around so it's all coated nice, evenly with cornstarch. Take the cornstarch out. You're going to take the chicken out. Leave the cornstarch in the back. Take the chicken out. And now you're gonna have 2 scrambled eggs in a bowl, and you're gonna have your sauteed pan on the stove on high. You want this on high. Put vegetable oil in the pan. Get the vegetable oil really hot. You want to take the chicken pieces now, put them in the egg wash, and then add the chicken pieces to the pan. Now look, don't add too many chicken pieces to the pan because it draws the heat from the pan and they won't cook correctly. So don't add too many. Don't crowd them, right? Give them enough room in there so that they brown. You might have to do it 2 or 3 times, but that's what you have to do because you want the dish to come out right. So put the chicken in there, let it cook on, 3-4 minutes. It's on nice and high. Turn it. Make sure they're not burning. Turn the chicken pieces, brown the other side. After you've done that for 7 or 8 minutes, take the chicken out and put it in the Pyrex glass dish, and then repeat until you're done with all your chicken. Now you're done. Now you got all the chicken in the glass dish. Take the sauce that you made. And mix it, and then pour it all over the chicken nice, right? Make sure that you cover all the chicken nice. Put it in the oven, the 400-degree oven. Leave it there for 10 to 12 minutes. Go back, turn the chicken after about 10 to 12 minutes. Make sure that it's all coated. Put it back in there. Leave it there for another 10 to 12 minutes. By then it'll be all done. You want it to get, the cornstarch in there will help to make the sauce kind of thick, right? The way the firecracker chicken should be. After about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you can tell. Go there and look. Make sure it looks like what you want it to look like. Take it out. Take the chopped scallion, because now you've taken scallion while you're waiting. Chop the scallion. Usually, cut off the little tail at the end, and then chop the white all the way up to where it gets light green. And then just, once you pull it out, put the scallion on top of the firecracker chicken and serve it family style. It's great, like I said, it's great at the beach. It's great for a Saturday afternoon barbecue. Just put it there. You can serve it with anything else you're serving, whether you got, ribeyes and peppers and onions and mushrooms, and you've got rice, you've got salad, all that stuff. Make sure you put the firecracker chicken as well. You can serve it as well, because it's a great dish. It goes a long way, and it's certainly always a crowd's pleaser. In the end, today is going to be an interesting day. You got the Michael Burry comments. He's going to be talking about that. We're talking about Bitcoin, talking about Tesla, Elon Musk, as we see how the market reacts. And then certainly there'll be plenty of talk about the FOMC and what to expect. In any event, take good care. I will see you tomorrow morning.